Mid lane, Ember against Lina, covered that with Celery, says Ember should be just fine here farming. And then in the top lane, Visage and Primal Beast. Celery thought that Primal Visage was going to take over this lane. So with that in mind, maybe Aster, a little bit worrisome how the lanes have been set.
Yep, only time will tell. And like you said, Ori playing in the mid lane as Lina versus the Ember Spirit. Usually that ends up being kind of a wash to some degree. But there, I mean, what kind of gank potential do each sides have? Because obviously I mentioned ad nauseum the Siamese cat playing the Shadow Demon. A lot of the setup that he has available to him if he was able to roam, but he's going to be stuck in this safe lane for quite a while. He's going to get jumped on by Jin-Q.
I was trying to get the range creep secure there, but it did get denied by Monet before he got there. So a lot of damage though.
Quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, don't underestimate Onslaught as a level 1 spell. It's 110 physical damage, and obviously positions you right on top of the hero, so...
No.
Packs quite the punch. These heroes in the dire safe lane, both 3 armor only.
Have the glimpse back onto XXS, but why? He's the one taking the brunt of the damage right now. Swashbuckle blocks him as well, and why? He does use his health salve and lives, but it gets instantly canceled, so a lot of economic damage here on the side of Aster.
I think what Boboka should do now is go courier hunting. Ricky and Disruptor have 0 tangos left, so if this courier delivery fails, I think they can start winning the lane on harassment. XXS on that Pango will be able to sustain quite a lot longer with Tango plus Salve against these heroes, and the stick that he's going to get charges on every time there's a Blink Strike, every time there's Tricks, every time there's Thunder Strike. Very great stick lane here. Both of them obviously running that immediately on these heroes. Disruptor currently ferrying out 2 Mangoes, so they're not even sending down a Tango pack just
I mean, we
yet.
should also mention, since we don't see a whole lot of Ricky, but his base regen is kind of crazy. I think it's, is it 5? It's 8 right now. He
has a Flag Bearer.
That's with the tower, yeah, okay.
So when the Flag Bearer dies, we're down to 6.
Now the extra one from the, so it's 5 base.
6
which is still really high, really high, and he has high armor as well, so.
This lane is predominantly going to be in the their tower, I think. So I believe Ame will be sitting on the 6 region most of the time, but now Boboka has opened up the big camp.
Onslaught onto Siamese Cat here on the Shadow Demon, as Jin-Q using the new set for Primal Beast. It's a lot of armor. I think that would add a little bit of extra damage to his Onslaught, but he doesn't need it. He's first banned most games, so. Monet off to a pretty good start, 15-6 in the CS, and you can see in the mid lane, 17-3 for the Lina on Ori, as nothing to say. Pretty close with 15-2, so kind of what we expected, a wash overall. But back to the original conversation with how much roaming potential each side has in terms of the ganking is why? Swashbuckle, and that ends up being first blood, going the way of XXS. Ame still very healthy though.
This is what ends up happening when you don't have tangos for a minute and a half. Like, eventually they're going to waddle you down so much that you're in killing range, and Ricky doesn't offer much in the way of defense for his support. He can't really cover or anything, so. Yeah, good start there for Aster. Going to be very happy for them to get that on XXS. He's also going to get himself a nice little Flag Bearer creep there. Opting to currently eye up. Wait, what is he buying with this?
Well, LSA connects, but glimpse back. Ori taking a lot of damage. TP is coming in from Boboka, but the last right click is enough from Y. So big kill for LGD here in the mid lane.
Yep. Great way of taking advantage of dying there. It gets the full refill and comes straight mid and finds a play. So good read from Y that is a possibility, punishing Ori in that lane. Looks like Pango's going Vanguard, by the way, to answer that my own question from earlier. Good item against the Visage, obviously. Pretty decent against Ricky as well. I wonder if we're going to see him build the full Crimson.
Yeah, possibility. Not the most common items these days.
It is nice for... I think the logic of buying items on Pango that protect Drow is pretty sound in this game. I think for Aster to find success in the later portions, this Drow has to have some sort of freedom to stand her ground and not just get run over by Ricky, by Primal Beast, by Ember.
Onslaught in with the trample. A lot of damage coming out onto Siamese Cat. Monet can't really do much, as that's going to lead to another kill on the Shadow Demon. Although Jin-Q now getting kited as Monet. Does he have actually enough damage here as a pause comes out?
Well, yeah, that's
what?
Shadow Poison, Primal Beast, and consider. Well, he was going to block
when
some
you say
ground
we,
damage.
you mean you. You did not.
You did not consider it either.
Beyond getting kited a bit more now by
Good
Monet.
damage. He might actually kill him here.
Yeah, he could. Multi-shot is there, and that's going to be enough. TP is coming in now.
That's what you asked, right?
Q, onslaught. Oh, gets gusted. Immediate cancellation. That would have been option B. They killed both of them, and they split it.
All right, so every prediction we had was actually wrong.
That is correct.
It's not even
Ori, he's going to get glimpsed back, but
nice
disruption is there. Searing Chains, not available here, but Ori will drop nonetheless. There's nothing to say with the Sleight of Fist.
Oh, and he's even going to get a regen rune here for his troubles. Just needs to wait until the Shadow Poison runs out. They can pop it. They could dive here. I think, did ST see this rune be picked up by the... He did have a ward on it, so...
Q has made the trip over as well, and he's hungry for some Shadow Demon. Disruption on himself, but this is going to just delay the inevitable here as another kill goes the way of PSG.LGD. Ori does connect on the LSA. Maboka's here as well, but they don't have enough lockdown.
No arrow.
As Ori was not, he's not quite level 6, so no Laguna Blade would have been enough.
Important for LGD to be winning this mid lane because this top, I think this top lane went better for Aster than you could have hoped for. Monet being level 6 now against level 4 Visage. Close to level 5 at the very least for Faith Beyond, but let's say a full level advantage. I don't know if this kill... Okay, with Primal it's definitely going to be possible. Yep, they're getting a great angle here on Monet.
Monet inside the kinetic field. All he can do is pop that multi-shot, and it looks like, oh, okay. Gets gusted away, but back with the glimpse, and Monet falls to the ground as PSG.LGD get another valuable kill.
Yeah, that's what happens when Shadow Demon has already rotated mid. He's not there for the immediate cover, and he grabbed that nice kill. I wonder if Monet is even going to go back to top lane now. He might just go jungle. He's level 6, has Tread's Wraithband. He farms pretty quickly in that jungle. You give the top lane to another hero and just accept that once in a while there's going to be some sort of dinosaur bus just driving by and killing your SD, and it's like, oh well, whatever, you know. He'll go bottom at for now with a dust, so looking to gank on his Drow minute 7, a classic play we see all the time.
Yeah, that is very interesting. As Ame, we can see, is just gonna have to watch that tier 1 tower fall.
It's such an early tower. They didn't have a siege creep remaining either. There's just no resources for LGD to hold on to this.
Searing Chains, Ori's in a lot of trouble, and there's the trample onslaught combo as Jin Q able to help finish off the Lina. Laguna Blade was used, but not to much avail. So PSG.LGD kind of all over the map. They do lose their tier 1 tower at the bot lane though.
So far their gank timings have been pretty pristine, right? Not only have they been successful in killing Ori 3 times, but it's all 2 out of 3 kills I believe have been exactly around the power rune timing. So nothing to say, got the 6-minute regen after the first kill, or the second kill, and now he got the illusion rune top after the 3rd kill, minute 8. So very, very good rotation, especially from Jin Q here on that Primal. And Faith Beyond, because of the kill they found top beforehand, is level 6, so you can kind of leave him alone here. There's not many heroes that want to stand against Visage in the Dire team. Shadow Demon doesn't enjoy it, Mirana doesn't enjoy it. Pango can. That might be what they're opting for once he gets the Vanguard. Maybe you just park XXS to try to defend that tower for as long as possible.
And nothing to say. Going to the high ground here onto Aster's side. He's going to find him a couple other heroes here from Aster, but the LSA is not going to be able to hit, so he just walks away casually.
Oh, a little bit of miscommunication there, missing the swatch.
Disruption, but the Sleight of Fist to buy some time, and the Remnant away, nothing to say is A-okay. And that bought the space for Faith Beyond to take the tier 1 tower. It was a slow one, but essentially soloed it. All right, like you said, the Vanguard now online is Monet. It's going to get gone on here with the tricks of the trade from Ame. Kinetic Field's going to keep him in place. All he can really do is multi-shot, but gets the gust off. Have a little bit of vision, but still going away. We're going to see a Laguna Blade used in the middle of the jungle here. That'll lead to a kill onto Jin Q.
Nice escape there from Monet. He needs to be patient there with the gust. Just chill, get away. He'll TP in with a bit of a helping sound here. Pichu. We have an answer, by the way, of what Ricky is going to use the Ring of Health for. What do you think it is?
Nothing.
That is correct. Divine Diffusal.
I mean,
right.
Is there any reason to go Linken's this game? Not really.
I mean, ultimately, you will turn this Ring of Health into an Abyssal, right? But it's quite...
Okay, like super late game.
It's quite far away. I have to say, I love this hero. I've played it quite a bit, but almost exclusively as support. I cannot explain to you why this Ring of Health is that valuable that you must buy it. Maybe there's some sort of logic to how you're able to farm when you're not laning, like you can sustain better in the jungle, or maybe he just had a different read on the lane, that he needed it. I think now that we've seen the lane play out, it didn't really feel necessary. I don't know.
Yeah, that is true. As we're going to see the jump here onto Siamese Cat. Instant disruption as Jin Q looking on the sideline for the bigger kill on Monet. Pulverize is there. They're going to be able to get the support right off the bat. The trample comes in. I think the Gust actually missed here from Monet. He's going to get glimpsed back, and that is going to lead to a very valuable kill, although it goes to Y. Either way, PSG.LGD going to be very happy with this.
Yeah, they're going to still have their Static Storm intact, and Pulverize obviously a super short cooldown. So this support duo now, PSG.LGD has insane playmaking potential. Static Storm 90-second cooldown, Pulverize a measly 32. So a lot of opportunity to just go around, look for picks. As we've already established, they're very good at killing the enemy supports, but also the Lina. I think they would love to find Ori once more. And as long as they're playing together with nothing to say, I don't think there's any limitations for finding kills. The defensive possibilities that Aster have through the means of Moonlight Shadow, you just cover that with the dust, and the Shadow Demon Disruption most of the time will just set up a Static Storm, right? So you've got to be really, really careful as Aster now with how you play the map. Every time these heroes are missing, it's kind of a minefield.
Well, there's XXS still in the mid lane right now, just chilling, has his Vanguard, and will be going for instantly pretty much the Crimson Guard Cinderin. Yep. Again, not the most popular item these days, but against the Visage makes a lot of sense.
The prize is mine.
And I mean, they have a lot of damage on this team, so maybe he doesn't really need to go what you would usually see on the Pangoliers these days.
Yeah, the thing you could argue is that is Crimson Guard actually a better defensive item for his team than if he goes Force Lotus, for example, right? So you have multiple ways of repositioning away from Ricky, of getting out of Searing Chains on the Ember, because if he's itemizing this way for his Drow's sake, I don't think most players would buy the Crimson here in this tournament. So either it's because Aster have an idea of a specific timing with this item that they're going to try to force a good fight once it's online around Roche or around the mid tower, for example, to try to gain some ground. Or he feels like if he doesn't buy it, the Visage Birds are just too big of a problem.
Another pause here, but in terms of the flow of the game, would you say that you would favor one team at this stage?
I do like the look of this currently for LGD.
Shocker.
Well, first of all, they have a slight gold lead, and
yes, of course.
I don't think I think this Ricky got off to a very good start, and as we've talked about, pretty polarizing hero. With the start,
Santa Ahmed, Laguna Blade to follow, but
no backup.
The trade, yeah, the Moonlight Shadow giving cover for Ori, but allows him to initiate, but nobody to follow it up with. As Y taking a lot of damage in the meantime, as the multi-shot is finishing him up from the high ground. There's the first rolling thunder of the game from XXS. Nothing to say with the Remnant in a way. Now Monet has to be careful, as there are familiars just completely surrounding him. Soul Assumption is there as well, and the last right click will do it. Now the Pulverize applied to XXS. All he can do, actually mitigates a lot of damage to that shield crash, but doesn't last as long as it used to. Not able to get the stun on the Faith Beyond, but the Searing Chains is there. So 3 kills for PSG.LGD.
We're talking a tenth of a second there from a totally different outcome, I think. Nothing to say, just barely gets off the Activate Fire Remnant.
This is just a typical Ricky in pubs, man. Just hanging around, stealing some creeps here and there.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to get a replay on that, because I thought Aster in the position that they were in were actually going to win that fight when I saw the Primal or the Pango roll come out. So look here where Ember ends up getting positioned now once the Pango comes out. So this is where Pango can usually find a perma chain stun, right? If that connects, I think they might take down Nothing to Say. And obviously the remainder of the fight plays out completely differently. He's integral in every single kill they get afterwards. So imagine the Ember dying there. Maybe Aster take a pretty meaningful win. Instead, they lose 3. And as you said, Ricky not involved in the mix. He's going to get a Diffusal Blade now, and Visage gets the Wraith Pact as well. So huge power spike now
very big
for LGD's lineup. And they will on tower full advantage.
Will be taken out.
Yep.
Just curious what the build Ame is going for. So obviously maxing Blink Strike and then Tricks of the Trade. So only 1 in Smokescreen for the moment. But
standard.
The AoE that still increase with each one? No.
Hey,
well, it's been a while.
Yeah, you have a talent on 10 where you can take either that or the Blink Strike slow. I wonder what he's going to do here, because you can choose to go for a talent now. You can start putting more points into Smokescreen. If I were to guess, he probably takes the Blink Strike slow so he can stay on top of the Drow more easily. But there is something good to be said. I mean, the Smokescreen AoE talent is also pretty strong.
Yeah, but Belke is going to get glimpsed back. He is Moonlight Shadowed, but they have the vision, and they have the kill again as PSG.LGD looking extremely good at the moment. Sleight of Fist is going to connect onto 2 as the Moonlight Shadow is about to end here. Jin Q just posturing at the high ground.
I'm looking at the game state right now, and Aster initiating into LGD's team, and I just find it so hard to find the path. They're going to try here.
Purge to start, but an instant static storm onto XXS, but is it going to be follow-up? Not really. It delays and perhaps just ends this engagement entirely.
The thing that's so tough is that if you don't have superior vision as the Dire, you're running in against Slight Chains out of Fog, Glimpse, Ricky, who could be anywhere if he's not showing farming the top wave as he is right now, and a Primal Beast from Fog 2. There's just so many uncertainties, and your heroes aren't naturally tanky. Your only real frontliner is the Pango with the Crimson Guard. If Lina gets caught, she's kind of toast. If Drow gets caught, she also still doesn't have that Pike.
Well, thankfully for Aster, they made that change, so Primal Beast, when he uses Onslaught, you can hear it, at the very least, the sound cue.
Under attack.
But yeah, very, very scary to walk into this team for sure.
They will access their own jungle again, which is good news for Aster. They need a bit more area to work with. Also, Ori is going to complete the BKB in 100 gold, so maybe that's going to open things up a little bit more for them.
I mean, talk to me, again, back to the Ricky, as you know I'm going to go here again.
Yeah.
With a typical carry that we've been seeing a lot from PSG.LGD, if you're up 5k at this stage, is that like extremely good news as a Ricky, because he hasn't been involved at all. So I feel like this is just going to get amplified now as he starts to actually show up in these fights. As Siamese Cat looks like he's got that self-disrupt.
Good arrow.
Sassy wants to go for the roll. Making it out here a bit is nothing to say. Does finish off Siamese Cat with that last slide fist, but away he goes as PSG.LGD. Very confident. Big glimpse into the static storm and pulverize. No chance for XXS as he does not have his shard. Obviously, that is going to be the big counter to that.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
We'll see if PSG.LGD wants to try to go for the old Roche.
That's a good point. I actually think Pango should be buying the shard now. It's really, really valuable. But to answer your question from before, being 5k gold ahead is indeed good, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Just double checking.
Being 5k gold up at 15 minutes is good. And if Ricky was another carrier, it would also be good, because he's ahead by 5k. So yes, that is correct.
Well, it's a carry that hasn't done anything yet, really.
Yeah, if another carry also hadn't done anything, being 5k up would be pretty good.
All right, I see your point. Thank you, Cinder.
You're welcome. It was a great question. I'm always here to help.
As we're going to see a big smoke now from PSG.LGD. Roche is at a half HP right now. They don't want to fight it, or they don't want to take it out quite yet, because everybody from Aster is up here on the high ground. But they're going to try to pounce onto Ori. He's going to run right into the familiars, but going to go for the D-wards first instead. But there's the glimpse back. Instant stun. Here comes the rolling thunder from XXS. Not going to connect initially. Nothing to say. Comes in with a big slight and the BKB proc. But Ori, he's going to return the favor with the BKB of his own. Kind of a weird engagement here as XXS now.
They have glimpse again in 2.
On the other side. But no deaths out of that fight.
That was a very clever way that PSG engaged that, and also a good response from Aster. So what LGD realized is the one thing they need to not happen is that they get clumped up and get Pango rolled, and then the artillery just starts going to town with the Drow as well as Lina. So what they do is they poke and force out the Pango roll, and then they just disengage. And now that they got the
chains, no BKB, Ori, Soul Assumption is there, Smoke Screen as well, he's done. Well, they get a pretty good multi-shot, but this is going the way of PSG.LGD for sure. 2 for nothing to start it. And nothing to say is not done here quite. Yeah, gets the Searing Chains off, but the Disruption's going to delay this just for a little bit. Space Beyond continuing with his familiars, but Monet just ticking down ever so slowly. Another gust, but there's the Blink Strike from Ame. Double kill for him. Tricks of the trade, but Blink Strike back into the fray, and that's a 4th kill going the way of LGD, and this should be a free Roche as well. Ricky is owning.
Yeah. He got his defusal, he came online, and he's joining. And yeah, I mean, you're starting to see part of the reason, or maybe the whole reason, that Ricky was the choice here for LGD among a plethora of options that would have worked against this Dire lineup. They went for this one, and he's hounding those supports, and he's hounding that Lina. So again, with that fight we just had, as we see the replay here, that what led to this is effectively Pango rolls on cooldown from the poke that LGD did at the outpost, and so is Lina's BKB. So you're I think Aster making a pretty crucial mistake here, even being positioned in that spot. I think they have no business trying to even look for a fight.
Yeah.
The Pango roll is just too big a part of their lineup. When that's on cooldown, you got to play way more defensively than that. His hand is kind of forced when Ori gets caught. They're trying to help, but they held the friend syndrome effectively. There just gets 4 heroes killed instead of 1.
Yeah, and by the way, for the Ring of Health watchers out there, it is now in Ame's backpack, so a very valuable spot right now.
Yep.
A little passive 0 regen at the moment.
He's banking on a little bit of an macroeconomic change here. Gold goes up in value, and then, I mean, it is a gold ring, right? I think so. Well, it's called.
It looks gold, yeah.
It's gold. So maybe it will increase in price. What do you think about that as a concept? What if items sold for more and more gold the later the game went? That sounds really terrible.
Then you could just replace your items completely.
That's a really awful idea. Thank you, Action Slacks, for that. Goes right in the bag with like an axe.
Now, like an axe is cool. That was his, I mean, a broken clock is right twice a day. That's what I think of Slacks in general. So
I kind of like that. Whenever I have a really stupid idea, I'll just say it was Slacks and everyone will believe me, I think. That's good.
Yeah, that's fake news right there for sure. Fortification pop by Aster as they are at a 7k net worth, make it 8 deficit at only 21 minutes. This is turning into a shellacking for sure.
And the thing is, it's not only about the gold, it's about the flow of the map, right? Like, you can be 8k gold behind, but maybe still have some sort of a meaningful direction you can find in the game. It's just terrifying. I mean, look at nothing to say.
XXS, he's trying to get up. His Rolling Thunder, he does.
Nice
so if he just attempts to TP away, I doubt they will try to fight this. Jin Q takes a demonic purge. Siamese Cat's dead.
Yeah, this tower's lost now because you don't have Pango. So, and another instance where it feels like Aster would have been wiser to not even bother to be here. I just think these fights are too difficult, and they end up just feeding over a key cooldown here on the Pangold as well as their Shadow Demon's life to no avail, really. As PSG.LGD wanted to be there with their heroes anyway, so it's not like you didn't get any meaningful trade like damage on a tower or a power rune or anything of that kind. The Invis rune still sitting bottom, and let's see who's going to grab this. It is an interesting rune to take on, not Ricky, Shannon. You could take it on
But the voice line is so rare.
That's true. It is a good voice line.
He's trying to walk away here. Onslaught. Oh, he does see him, but gets gusted. But the glimpse back, that was just enough into the Static Storm. Trample as well, but Ori pops speaking to get the LSA to be able to cancel it. They do get the kill onto the Primal Beast, but there's a disruption to save Monet, but not for long enough. Down goes the Drow again. Demonic Purge under nothing to say, and his Remnant's going to be really slow as the result, but he has the cover of his teammates. Shadow Demon dead. Ori basically out of mana, and that means they can now initiate with the Moonlight Shadow, giving him cover.
It's running out now.
From XXS. Nice blink onto 2 heroes. Here comes a nice Star Storm as well. Nothing to say. Gets stunned again. Do they have enough? They do. Big kill for Aster. Need to get more out of this, though. Swashbuckle onto Y, but now they're going to control XXS as he is within arm's reach of the Ricky and the smoke screen. And down he goes. So it ends up being a 4 for 2. And the Age is still intact.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And in the meantime, off to the side, Ame did kill off Ori in the trees. Ori tried to stick to get the mana for a stun, but immediately got smokescreen defusal burned. And there's just no way out of that. So another... It's kind of interesting that LGD's gold lead is barely growing from that fight, but I guess the Ember kill was just worth that much. He was 6-0 after all. Maybe there, if Mane pikes the Primal Beast instead of forcing himself, perhaps this goes a little bit better. And I think he could have maybe killed the Primal from behind the tower before he got glimpsed, and Lina doesn't have to expend spells on this, but it's so easy to say. Like, you're obviously going to go off a gut reaction there on what you can do.
We got the trample out of Invis from Jin Q, but Hurricane Pike back into the glimpse and the Static Storm as well, but I don't think nothing to say can go any further as the pressure is being applied onto Y. As XXS wants to finish him off, and they will be able to do so. Nothing to say, has to pop the BKB now in retreat. By the way, I wanted to talk about Jin Q's build. He's going for Halberd on Primal Beast, which, I mean, normally we would see BKB. Is this a little... that doesn't feel like he needs it? Or is this because they feel like they're really far ahead right now?
Man, I kind of agree that BKB looks very strong, because you do have some quite limited freedom against a hero like Pango. Maybe part of the logic is Demonic Purge just ruins you after you've gone in. So maybe he wants to have that extra utility instead to control the Drow with the disarm. In a way, or maybe he just wants to go in and tank, right? If the goal here is that he makes space for his teammates, if you go BKB on Primal, what happens a lot of the time is that the enemy team is not going to go on you because they can't kill you. With this, he has way more EHP because he has the evasion and he has that active disarm that he can maybe force a BKB with, or rather not force a BKB with, but keep himself alive if he charges the Drown, just halberds her, or the Lina, and then just soak damage while his team just cleans house. It's a different approach.
And they also have
almost everyone else would take, but I kind of like it here actually.
Like even if you BKB pulverize somebody, there's always the disruption possibility to save the teammate anyway. So
absolutely,
it's interesting. Kind of. I mean, we joke all the time about Primal Beast and his build being basically like the first two items exactly the same every single game, and BKB is almost always one of them.
Yep.
But not to be. He's going to be going Halberd into Shivas, it looks like. So we now have Moonlight Shadow by Aster.
It's also worth keeping in mind you have the luxury of thinking about the game entirely differently when you are 4, right? The BKB is almost always a thing on the 3 Primal because you have a bigger responsibility to deal damage. But Jinkyu's role in this game is more of a controlling nature than a killing one. So he's just going to charge in, mess up the fight, make space.
Oh, LSA connects. Laguna Blade as well. Static Storm just for defensive measure, but it's not enough. Nothing to say is dead. Does have the buyback. Not sure if he wants to use it in this engagement. It looks like they're going to lose their Primal Beast as well.
Okay.
Nice setup there by Aster, baiting the rune.
That ward, value for them, getting that Ember kill, and the Primal Beast trying to help out. Gives them a little bit of a bonus kill, and that's also going to be a mid-tier 1 tower. The good news for them is Roche cannot be up yet, so LGD will not be losing that, but they lose quite a bit of ground. This is the start of a potential comeback for Aster. This game. Do they get a meaningful item out of this? So Lina's going to finish Silver Edge, so they have that break now.
Monet's BKB about to come as well.
Yeah, Monet BKB. That was a very important moment for Aster because of what it leads to now in terms of just a little bit of downtime and getting these 2 specific items now. Opens up a possibility for them to maybe make more out of this.
Prize is mine.
Ame closing in on his BKB. I was wondering if he was going to go for that or something else, but has opted to go that route. This is the kind of game where you could maybe justify not getting that magic immunity, but getting more in the way of like a Basher, or I don't know if you want to be cute and buy Ags on the and jump into Ember or something like that.
I mean, it's pretty good.
It is pretty good, but I think you need more damage before that becomes meaningful. I think you want the Basher first most of the time before you do that. So
is that enough? You don't need like a Daedalus or some hardcore item?
Not, I mean, it depends on the target, right? It feels really good because Ember offers you the immunity of the BKB, right? So you don't really need to worry about the protection when you go in. So
Mindbreaker, though, pretty freaking good on Ricky. Yeah. Instant Blink Strike silence, so you don't have to smoke screen immediately. You have a little bit extra time.
He kills Shadow Demon in a heartbeat, basically.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a Force Staff, so if he just jumps him, he's dead. Interesting, by the way, to see that from Aster. Nobody bought one except the Drow.
Oh, what? The Force?
Yeah, so they're eyeing it up now on the Mirana, but you opted to go for the Wraith Pact first, which is understandable. Like, that item is, of course, very, very powerful in this meta and the way teams are playing. But Siamese Cat's game is just that bad that he's not even close. He's going.
He's got the 4-man's Force Staff, which is the Tumbler's Toy, which gets deactivated when you take damage. Yep. Not so helpful, maybe. Q instantly silenced and deleted off the map.
Oh, they found Ame,
but he pops the BKB. But obviously, for the first BKB, not the type of usage that he would have wanted.
What is it with this game and LGD getting BKBs off with like no time before that would connect again? Am I missing something about that change where you can BKB between Pango rolls? Is it just me overhyping something that doesn't exist here? Because you remember that, right?
I do, and I'm forgetting the details as well.
So Rolling Thunder used to be a perma-stun if you stayed on top of the targets, right? So the internal cooldown was low enough. I think with level 2 Rolling Thunder, the stun is long enough because it scales up and there's no status resistance on the Ricky. So I want to say that Ricky and Ember can get chain stunned by a roll level 2, but you're the Pango player, so you can definitely tell me.
Yeah, moving on. I can't remember. Yeah.
I do think it needs to be level 2 before it permanent.
I mean, that was mostly for the chain, for the shard, right? When you're rolling Thunder and then you just shard on top of them.
Oh, speaking of which.
Yeah, that's going to be the deletion of XXS. LGD want to fight immediately. Shadow Demon's going to get... Oh, nice disruption on self, so it's going to cancel the glimpse, but he still will have to cancel his own life, and this could lead to Roche.
Aster just got a great comeback, and now they get caught off in the middle on their Pango, and this is just a free Roshan. I don't see what's stopping LGD from doing this well. They're going to de-ward first.
That ward looks pretty juicy.
Cover the area. AC on Visage should make this a lot easier. And, you know, whenever Ricky is with any sort of teammates doing the Roche, he's actually not the worst Roche killer in the world, because you get backstab on every attack until Roche randomly decides to target you for some reason.
Yeah, it feels like Roche really hates Ricky's. Yeah. That's for sure. Just like
the shard is going to go on Ricky. So now we'll get that sleeping dart. Very, very good shard. I mean, the primary reason that for Ricky was actually even a thing after shards came out, because it used to be a thing before shard even existed, and then it just faded away from existence for like 2 or 3 years.
What was the meme build was sleep dart into meteor hammer, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be seeing that, just going out on a limb here. Oh, the gust coming out. XXS gets the blink dagger off. Visage is taking a lot of damage. It's going to be enough to actually get beautiful rolls coming out from XXS. They take him out 2 for nothing to start this fight. But Ori stuck inside of no man's land. He gets brought down to his knees. Buyback coming out of the Disruptor now, but look, the heroes from PSG.LGD are very low. They're going to lose the Aegis pretty much right off the bat as well. Now he's surrounded, pops the BKB, trying to focus down the Shadow Demon. The Disruption comes out, but no, not going to be enough. Nothing to say with the sleight of fist. Double kill for Ame. So PSG.LGD, I mean, I don't even know who won that fight. There was a buyback coming out. They lose the Aegis. It would have been really bad if they didn't have Aegis.
I think given the fact that there was an Aegis on the other team, I think Aster should be happy with this. And I love the way they executed it. They chain stunned and killed Visage 100-0. They recognized that there's no defensive tools to keep him alive for LGD, and he's the aura carrier. They get the Wraith Pact and the AC out of the fight by killing this guy. So choosing that as your primary target here, very, very good. So look at this. So Pango roll stun is going to turn there with the shard, stun again. And he's trying now to use the shard on Visage, but does just barely get killed. If that shard goes off and he gets Stone Farm cast there, I think Aster will lose this fight horribly, because then the AC is in play.
Yeah.
And the Vlads while he's immune there. So very, very important that they find that finish.
Not too shabby. As Ame now working on the Eye of Scotty. And actually not that far away.
This is a moment that Aster could be looking to do something with. They used Moonlight Shadow and have a bottled DD.
Man, there's a lot of invis. There's a Ricky, there's Moonlight Shadow, there's Silver Edge, and I believe Aghanim Scepter soon for Visage. Sentries are going to be kind of game-winning, I feel like.
I wonder if Axe is the right choice on Visage, if that's the best item he can buy here. Does feel like something like Hex could be valuable, or like does he have that much responsibility to do damage here is my question. Like when you're offering these 2 auras to your team already, maybe you can get more in the way of utility or survivability. I guess Axe is like a little bit of survivability, but I don't know. Not sure if Axe is the best purchase.
Well, Aster do have their first 4 staff now, outside of Monet, of course.
They don't have Moonlight, so are they going to be spotted here? There's Glimpse.
Yep, the
Forcing
Glimpse
BKB
back. Monet, he's going to get disrupted, so doesn't need to pop it. But Mirana is going to die for her sins. Monet pops the BKB inside that static storm. There's nothing to say. It's getting melted inside. Gets off the sleight of fist and able to remnant away. And now Ame trying to focus on Monet, but has to reset. Fire coming out of the Shadow Demon. As it looks like Jin Q falls to XXS. And the fight ends up resetting here. 6K lead for PSG.LGD. And in terms of the net worth swing, it kind of even because of the buyback.
Aster are doing a great job after being under the amount of pressure we talked about and the type of lineup they're playing into. I think it's very admirable how they've managed to kind of stabilize this game in a range that seems very winnable. I want to point out, we were talking about, at least, maybe I didn't get to say that, but Ricky was considering a nullifier before, but he changed his mind, so Ame's not going to go for the Eye of Scotty. He's going to have more tankability. He's going to have that reliable slow, which nullifier also offers, obviously, to an extent, but he's playing against these BKBs. So opting to get that Scotty so he can, maybe just for the sake of, I just want to stay on Drow. Like, literally just be on top of her, pressure her out of that marksmanship.
Don't forget the Ring of Health.
And he still has the Ring of Health, yes.
Oh, he just sold it. Okay.
It was an investment.
Well, he bought it and used it, I want to say, for 10 minutes. Is that an exaggeration?
Nope. That's about right.
That... Maybe we can get a little timer next time we see the Ricky pick. And
I was paying attention to, like, okay, when he's farming jungle, is he getting a lot of value out of the Ring of Health? If he didn't have it, I think he was full of health the whole time, basically. Yeah. So it might have been fine either way. Well, at the end of the day, the Ring of Health only costs half of what he paid, right? Because he gets the refund, so.
Very true. XXS gets off a nice rolling thunder, trying to control the disruptor. Only gets the one stun though as Monet pops the BKB, but has to reset. There's nothing to say. He's all alone here on the high ground. Gets off the side of this, and the Remnant's able to buy enough distance to live. And a rolling thunder continuing to go for XXS. Ame able to get tricks of the trade off onto the low ground with the blink strike. They've lost their primal beast.
Aster stands so strong in this position. This is like the dream spot to play Drow Shadow Demon. You have the hill. Shadow Demon gets to play keep away in the back and get a good disruption out. You just need to outlast this BKB on the Riki and on the Ember, and they can't fight you anymore. So LGD really trying to put that pressure onto Aster and get control of another area of the map, but Aster are just ready for it. They have good formation. Another great rolling thunder once again from XXS just took Disruptor out of the fight from the beginning.
Ori trying to delete the Disruptor, one right click away. They will find him. It looks like the force have to end. The Shadow Demon gets to the Disruption just in time, and nothing to say melts. Ame gets the blink strike off. Make it 2 now as Faith Beyond kind of stuck. Lina used the shard here to keep himself alive for the time being. That's going to set up a potential stun from the LSA. Now the right clicks come, and that should be more than enough damage for Aster to eat through 2 cores for PSG.LGD. And the tier 2 tower will fall as well.
This game, minute 22, Gabe and Gabe Radiant, 88% chance of winning.
And then Ricky started fighting, and suddenly
He's sold his Ring of Health and it's been downhill ever since. We're down to
technically true.
67% chance now for Aster.
Man.
Not that the graphs are gospel, but this it is looking very good for them. Ember no buyback, Visage half a minute. Aster gonna try to squeeze as much out of this as they can. And this is what Drown lineups do when they win a team fight.
Indeed.
Bye-bye Barracks, 5-second push to take both of those out after the tower falls. Aster now taking control of the game, and you would imagine if they get this third Roche, they'll be feeling very, very confident about taking the win here after a rough early mid game. Just weathered the storm, had good positioning. And to me, once again, XXS Pango showing why they rated this hero as they did when they picked it.
Yeah, once he got the Blink Dagger, he has been on point with these Rolling Thunders, no doubt. And he has a full Shivas now. Where did that come from?
Very tanky.
Gracious me.
Yep.
Well, at this point, what does PSG.LGD need to do? Because it feels like they're trying to force these fights, and like you said, the positioning from Aster has just been on point. They've been ready, it feels like, for every little engagement.
I think LGD needs to be wiser about the areas that they fight in. I think the last 2 or 3 team fights they've lost have been on Aster high grounds, where they have tried to get in and get superior vision, but the Pango's just been ready every time and canceled out the Disruptor from the fight. Maybe you chill. Maybe you farm up this Ags on Y, and you try to use that to set up a fight later. You just need to cool down. If you start forcing now, like brute forcing more aggressive plays, I think it's just going to backfire even harder.
He is only 500 away from Ags,
It's
actually.
close. Faith Beyond, by the way, went for a Force Staff. He changed his mind away from that Ags himself because he's realizing, well, when they get on top of me, I'm kind of screwed. With this item, he can reposition away from the Drow and the Lina and try to stay alive. And arguably, this should have been on one of the supports, right? I feel like it's something I've been harping on a bit at this playoff. I think teams are buying Force Staff too little. One of the teams that's been doing it very successfully a lot of the time, I want to say, is Tundra. They've been buying quite a lot of Force Staffs in their games, if I'm not mistaken. Really take advantage of that positioning.
Oh, we got a smoke here from Aster. And you can see Ricky has the double damage. Static Storm immediately used, but again, the Rolling Thunder from XXX, but no, the BKB comes out from Ame, not able to get the double stun off here. So Aster might be wanting to retreat, and Baboka will live through this. We're getting some D-ward action down. Not sure if either team wants to fight again. Another Shadow Blade. Man, so much invis in this game. And Roche. This could be game deciding on either side, really. Imagine getting an Ags on, like, Ricky, for example, after going for this, looks like nothing to say went for the Daedalus, or is going for it now.
Do you think they'll give it to Ricky or to Ember, is my question.
Probably Ember.
The Ember one is also really valuable. I think nothing to say is running out of remnants.
It matters not. It's a refresher shard, Cinderin.
Yeah. That was a good talk.
Yep. Keep talking about it if you want, though. Yep. No problem.
Only 20 minutes and 30 seconds away from tier 5 neutral items, Shannon. Better prepare.
Oh, one of these days we're gonna get it.
There's nothing you want more in Dota.
That's true. It's
than
so
for
fun.
pro games to go 60 minutes so you can talk about your items.
That's right.
I think all the time we've cast together has happened once.
Moonlight Shadow. Faith Beyond. Trying to find some
good
distance
rolling
here. Rolling
thunder.
finds he's dead. No buyback at all as Ori. His right clicks are not something you can ignore. They are able to find the Mirana though, so it's a 1-for-1. But again, much more value kill coming out from Aster. And now Roche, they're gonna see he's up. He scouted out.
Just another amazing rolling thunder from XXS, and that time around gets connected on a max duration arrow onto Ricky. Did not get force staffed by Faith Beyond out of that stun chain. And as we covered, no defensive tools really aside from that glimpse. Send XXS away, but he's just playing zone control, getting that refresher over to Lina, and they will be like, you know what, XXS, your rolling thunder has been pretty good, so you can have a second one.
Yeah,
Give him the shard.
They don't really have the best refresher shard heroes, other than obviously the BKBs, which
It's
speaks
pretty
for
decent
itself.
on Lina, but I guess she can't support it yet with her item build. She doesn't have enough mana with the right-click build.
Yeah, nowhere near.
So,
maybe she had like a Shiva's or something. But now the MKB online for Ori, so even if the BKB is down, smoke screen, you can just kind of ignore it for the most part, in terms of just right-clicking at least. Tier 1 tower is dead now, so Aster flipping this game completely around. What does LGD need to do? High ground defense time?
they're going to be forced into that position more than likely, right? The problem is their lineup is largely built around playing from ahead, right? You have Primal Beast who wants to charge in and take command of the fight and then glimpse heroes back, but once you're on defense, your heroes don't have the same kind of team fight impact, right? It's a lot harder for Disruptor to find the place that he wants without using an offensive glimpse. And as we've seen time and time again, he's been struggling to even get to play his hero. Maybe in the base, and with the axe, they can, okay, they're gonna sleep into the storm.
Yep, Static Storm is there, Blink Strike as well, the BKBs, but Disruption buys a lot of time. He's A-okay as Ori. He's gonna get the instant kill onto Nothing to Say, who does not have buyback. And now they're gonna turn this around onto the Primal Beast. This is looking like the beginning of the end of game number 1 as Aster have come back with a vengeance. They were down big time early, but ever since the Blink Dagger came from XXS, as the GGs come out, it was just one-sided. Just a crazy game.
Isn't it kind of ironic how we're talking about how Ricky either snowballs or gets crushed, and in this game he did both?
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
He was really impressive when he wasn't in the fights, and then the instant he got the items to fight, looked really bad.
Yeah, I mean,